Attention, unidentified passengers on board.
I'd taken the train from Delaware to DC many times before, 7:53 p.m. out of Wilmington, arriving at 9:36. The tickets were cheap, and the train was mostly empty around that time. It was perfect. Tonight was no different. I sat in the window seat as usual, reading, as the train rocked gently back and forth. About 20 minutes into the ride, however, the intercom came on overhead.
Attention, unidentified passengers on board.
I looked up. Huh? Unidentified passenger? I glanced around the car. There was only a middle-aged woman that I saw when I got on several rows back. She was looking up, confused. What the heck? The voice overhead was different, too. It wasn't the usual garbled man's voice. It was a woman's, monotones and robotic. Did they mean like some kind of serial killer just got on or something? My stomach dropped. Wouldn't they say something more extreme though? Like hide? Or making an emergency stop? This almost sounded like they were announcing someone hadn't paid for their ticket. I glanced to the front car where the LED marquee was. Instead of listing the next station stop, it said, "Unidentified passenger, unidentified passenger, unidentified passenger." The letters scrolled past, over and over, jittering orange pixels. Maybe they mean someone's a Russian spy or something. Or maybe it was some sort of glitch. I stared at the orange letters. Unidentified passenger. I texted my boyfriend. The train saying there's an unidentified passenger on board? Really weird. It's gotta be fake, right? Or should I get off? He replied instantly, "That's really weird. Maybe get off. I can take the next train up to you. Where are you?" I pulled up my maps and checked our location. We were just a few minutes from Aberdeen. After hesitating for a second, I grabbed my bag. It probably is just some glitch or something, but I'm not going to be a sitting duck. I turned to the aisle. A woman was standing right in front of me. The middle-aged woman from the back of the car. I jumped, banged my head on the overhead luggage rack. "Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you, but do you know what's going on?" she asked. I shook my head. This has to be some joke or something, right? What do they mean, unidentified passenger? I don't know. I'm getting off just in case. I slipped past her into the aisle and started for the vestibule between the cars. "Good idea," she said. She hurried back to her seat and started grabbing her things. I pressed the button for the door and stepped into the vestibule. The metal floor shook underneath me. The landscape outside the train was pure black, except for a single, small light twinkling in the distance. The door behind me opened and a woman stepped in, clutching her bag close to her chest like a shield. "I'm supposed to be at my daughter's wedding tomorrow morning," she muttered, messing with her ashy blonde hair. "We just got back on good terms. If I'm even a minute late..." I glanced at the window into the next car. It was empty, except for a single man near the front. I could just see the top of his head poking over the seat. He wasn't packing his stuff, or even moving. Maybe we're overreacting, I thought for a second. No, this is how people get hurt. Not changing their plans when the alarm bells start going. As soon as something is off, you get out, period. My mom taught me this a long time ago. The train wobbled and shook. Light grew in the distance, twinkling through the darkness. We were approaching. I stepped closer to the door, staring out the little square window. The lights grew larger. The concrete platform rolled into sight. The squat brick building, the dark windows, silver sign, Aberdeen Station. We blew right past it. I stared out the window. We just passed the station. "No, what, really?" I nodded. Before I could say anything else, the intercom clicked to life.
Attention passengers, please remain in your original train car for the duration of the ride. Thank you.
The woman's voice again, monotonous, slow. "What the heck?" the woman whispered. I glanced through the window into the next car. The man was still sitting there, completely still. No, wait, not still. As the train took a curve, his head bobbed and lolled on his shoulders, limply, as if he were... I ran back to the door of our train car, slammed the button. The door shuddered open and we slipped inside. That guy. There was something seriously... I could barely choke out the words. "I know. Do you think he was..." She couldn't bring herself to say it. It kind of looked like that. I glanced back at the door into the vestibule. It was still empty, but the marquee above the door now reads, "Stay in your car. Stay in your car. Stay in your car." What do we do? I pulled out my phone and dialed 911. The woman I began talking to at once. "On a train. Someone's dead? It won't stop. Just past Aberdeen. The operator said she'd get someone to us." But deep down, I knew. What could they possibly do? If whoever was driving the train wouldn't stop, how could the police intervene? Set up a blockade? Possibly kill us in the crash? I stared out the window. Golden lights flew by. Clusters of suburbs, disappearing back into the darkness. I swallowed. You can't survive jumping out of a moving train, can you?" "I don't think so, at this speed," she replied. Silence pressed in on us. We should hide in the bathroom, she said. It has a lock, it'll keep us safe. It says stay in the car, I said, pointing to the marquee. And you trust whoever it is putting that up? The bathroom doors are flimsy anyways, I said. If someone wants to get us, they will. I closed my eyes, running my hands down my face. Could we just be freaking out over nothing? Maybe that guy, maybe he was just sleeping. Maybe they passed the stop for some reason. Maybe it really is just some glitch. The lights overhead flickered, and then went out. What the... I whimpered. The train car, only lit by an orange glow of the marquee at the front of the car. It was still flashing the same message. Stay in your seats, stay in your seats, stay in your seats. This is insane, the woman whispered. I texted my boyfriend. The lights just went out. We called 911. I don't know how they're going to get us off the train. I hit send and closed my eyes. Wait, the lights being out, maybe that can help us, the woman said. We can hide better. What are the chances he'll find us in the entire train? She crouched down. I don't think we can fit under the seats. There are benches at the back. I bet we can fit there. I slowly felt my way through the darkness of the car, pressing my hands into the cloth seat backs on either side. We reached the last aisle, where the seat configuration had been altered to have benches facing each other, with a space in the middle. I squeezed down into the space between the seats, and shuffled under the first bench. The woman did the same, squeezing under the second. I felt too hot. The rug scratched my arms. The metal of the seat pressed against my head. I twisted my legs and pushed myself back, so that my head wasn't poking out onto the aisle. We were decently well hidden, but if that guy, or whoever it was, found us, there was no way we could escape. We were trapped. We lay there, underneath the seats, for what felt like an eternity. The car rocked and swayed underneath us. My hair fell into my face. My legs ached. I knew Harry was probably texting me back, but I'd silenced my phone and it was deep in my pocket. I couldn't contort to get it out. Not that I'd want to. What if they came by while I was looking at my phone and found us because of the light? I was jolted back to reality by the shuddering sound of the door opening. No, no. I strained to listen. Soft, thumping footsteps sounded on the far end of the car, slow and methodical, quiet, like they were stalking their prey. The footsteps grew louder. I held my breath. Thump! A black leather man's shoe stepped into view. No. It glistened in the orange light, almost as if it were wet. My legs burned. Please don't look. Please. Go. Keep walking. Go. They hesitated, shoes frozen on the carpet, inches from my face. They finally took another step, and another. The door behind us shuddered open, and then closed. I let my breath out in short, silent bursts, then sucked in another breath as slowly as possible. They passed us. We're okay, we're fine. I turned my head to look at the woman. Tears were rolling down her face as she stared back at me. It's okay. He didn't see us, I whispered. Her mouth hung open. Her lips trembled. It's okay, I whispered again, but she didn't even blink. That's when I realized she wasn't staring at me. She was staring past me. I turned around. My blood ran cold. There was something at the door, pressing its face against the window, fogging up the glass. No, the person that just passed us wasn't it. That was just another passenger, trying to stay quiet, trying to hide. Maybe even the guy we thought was dead. It was that thing in the window. Eyes pitch black, skin ghastly white, barely lit in the flickering orange of the marquee, which now read, Don't run. That was the unidentified passenger. The woman crawled out from under her seat. No, I whispered, but she was already slamming her hand on the door open button. It slowly shuddered open, and she began to slip through it. The door opened on the other end. Rapid footsteps, out of sync, frantic running. I saw a flash of bare feet and bare hands thumping against the carpet. In seconds, it had run past me into the next car, before the door even had a chance to close. I heard a muffled scream and then silence. No. I bit my life trying to stop from crying. I knew she was dead, but there's no way she could have gotten away. I closed my eyes tight, trying to push it all down, trying to stay quiet. It went past. You just have to make it till... The doors opened. White, bare hands on the carpet, slick with something dark, followed by bare feet. Oh God, she's on all fours. She jerkily moved forward in a spider crawl until she was at my seat. She knows I'm here. No. I held my breath as its pale ankles buckled underneath the hem of its white skirt. As it began to crouch, long dark hair came into view. skimming down to the floor, more and more hair as it tilted its head down to look at me. It stopped just short of showing its face. I could see its hairline, its forehead as it hung upside down, inches from my face. It stopped there, frozen, waiting. I could see its entire body shift as it breathed. I could hear the high-pitched rasp of its breath. A single drop of blood dripped onto its pale hand, but it didn't show its face. My lungs felt like they were about to burst, but I forced myself not to breathe, not to move. I stared at the hair and the blood on its hand, and the dirty white dress skimming its ankles. With a creaking sound, it got up. The door slid open and disappeared. I took in desperate gasps of air. My lungs burned. Hot tears rolled down my face. I couldn't feel my legs or feet. You can't leave. Don't run. Don't run. Don't run. That's what the Marquis said. I would have to stay here forever, in the darkness, even if every nerve of my body felt like it was on fire. I don't know how long I was there, crouched under the seat, trying to breathe as quietly as possible, pins and needles crawling up my legs, my head pounding, my arms numb. But then the train slowed. The lights flickered back on, and the intercom crackled to life. A man's voice as usual.
Now approaching Union Station.
I didn't crawl out from under the seat until the train jerked to a stop. My entire body stiff, blazing with pain. I pulled myself out from under the seat, hobbled off the train and onto the platform. I felt like I couldn't walk. The bright light dazed me. Footsteps clicked, voices murmured, suitcases rolled across the concrete. A speaker somewhere overheard an announcement of a leaving train. When I turned back, though, I realized no one else had exited my particular train. Just me, and I didn't notice the hair until I made it into the station. A long, black hair intertwined around my wrist, and my skin underneath it blistered and red. Everywhere the hair had touched.